I rented the U-Haul for a couch and a kitchen table. That was the plan. 30 miles out, 30 miles back. Cheap, simple, on a Tuesday night. When the lot would be quiet and the highway would be empty enough to make the whole thing painless. The first wrong thing was inside the cargo bay. Someone had poured a thin line of salt into all four corners, clean little triangles, like chalk marks on a football field. On the left wall, near the roll-up latch, somebody had written in black marker, "Don T stop at 258. On the right wall, smaller, almost an afterthought, "Do not open while parked." I laughed. Because that's what your mouth does when your brain narrows. Prank, I decided. Some kid who works Saturdays with a Sharpie and a sense of humor. I swept a corner with my boot, just to see if it was flour. It wasn't. Salt will sing against rubber. It did. The clerk handed me the keys without looking up. "Full tank back," he said. "Return by morning. Mirrors, stick on that model. Don't fight him. They reset when you're rolling." Reset when you're rolling. The cargo bay smelled like 100 other moves, cardboard and spilled. Energy drink and a rope that S held too tight for too many years. I slid the door down. The latch took 2 tries. I told myself everything rattles when it's empty. It did not feel empty. I was on the road by 2:11 a.m. Night air, low radio. I ten a long black ribbon, where the reflectors blinked awake, one pair at a time. Streetlights went by in slow, polite intervals. The truck hummed like big things do when you're the smallest part of them. 2 exits out, the driver's side mirror trembled. Not a shake, more like it made up its mind and moved itself a 1/4 inch outward. I reached up to adjust it, and the glass slid back into place on its own. I stopped touching it. "They reset when you're rolling," the clerk had said. Okay. At a red light in a town that still pretends it sleeps, I glanced back. The cargo door was shut, latch down, everything proper. The storefront window across the street held the reflection of a box truck, with its door up 3 inches, and something like breath fogging the lower seam. I looked at the real door again, shut. I looked back at the glass, up 3 inches, fog, little fingerprints low on the inside, green light, rolling. The Windows version of my truck slid its door back down like it had only been stretching. I kept driving. I told myself to get the furniture first. Rules on a wall don't count as rules. They're graffiti. I decided the salt was a joke. I decided a lot of things. The house with the couch was a split level on a hill. My buddy had left it on the porch with a fat envelope under the cushion cash, because Venmo makes him suspicious. I put the ramp down and bent my knees and lifted the back end and felt a tap on the outside of the cargo door. Not loud, not hard, just "I'm here." I froze. The porch light hummed the way cheap bulbs do. A moth skittered against the glass. The neighborhood was so quiet I could hear it. Another tap, same place. I set the couch down and told myself not to be 12 years old. I walked around the truck and looked. No one. Concrete. An oil stain shaped like a boot, if you wanted it to be. I loaded the couch fast. The ramp clacked back in like a tongue. The latch took 2 tries again, and the second time it felt like something inside helped. I checked the dash clock when I pulled away. 2:41 a.m. The second pickup was 5 miles further, a table, with 2 chairs in a garage with the door already open. I backed down the cold ISAC, lined the tail with the driveway, set the brake, put it in park. The moment the engine settled, the side mirrors ticked inward like they were listening. I looked down at the clock. 2:52. The table was light. I gave myself a minute. 1 minute is nothing when you're on schedule. I had the first chair in my hands when the truck let out 3 quick, polite knocks from the cargo side. Not a boom, not a rattle. Knuckles on hollow metal, right where the latch sleeve meets the slats. I put the chair down and walked to the rear. The latch had pulled itself tight all the way to the rubber. The little pin you lift to roll the door. It was standing up like a dog ear. I looked at the clock through the windshield. 2:55. I told myself I was done being the kind of person who reads a Sharpie and makes it a prophecy. I opened the cargo door 3 inches. Air moved past my face like an icebox, sighing. I slid the chair in and pulled the door down, and the latch fought me, and I won. 256. The mirrors angled inward again, not toward my lane, but toward the box. Both of them. The left and the right, like two eyes checking if something inside had decided to learn how to see. 257. I grabbed the second chair and the tabletop and was halfway back when every motion light in that cul-de-sac clicked on in a neat procession, from the end of the street to the nose of the truck. I didn't hear the relays. It was too smooth for electricity. It looked like counting. 258. I didn't set the table. I didn't strap anything. I threw it all in, jumped, slammed, missed the latch, slammed again, caught it, and the pin flicked down by itself at the exact same moment. The dash clock ticked from 257 to 258. The passenger mirror showed the cargo door up 1 inch. The driver mirror showed the street behind me. I picked the one I wanted to be true and put the truck in drive. The first tap hit on my bumper like a coin flicked against a soda machine. The second landed a foot higher. The third was dead center on the roll-up, and I felt it in the steering column. "Don't stop at 258, the wall had said. I didn't stop. The next light was red. No cars, no cops, no guilt, and no idea how many seconds I could buy before a rule I didn't understand decided I'd broken it. I rolled through a little too slow to call it running. The taps hopped from the latch to the slats in a rhythm that wasn't. T-mine, and then this is the part my mouth hates. Telling something walked. Its knuckles from the outside metal to the inside wood of the floor in a single step without opening a door. At 3 a.m. on the dot, the radio went dead. Not static, not off. Just a blank space where sound had always been. The dash clock froze. The mirrors stopped correcting. The taps quieted like somebody's mom had just come down the stairs. I drove 10 minutes in that particular silence where you can hear your own pulse in your left ear. The highway unfurled like a ribbon, with nobody to share it. The cargo bay did not knock. My hands did not stop sweating. I pulled off at a travel plaza that asks a friend when you need light and coffee and the idea of other people. I backed into a spot under the biggest lamp I could find. I put the truck in park, and the side mirrors twitched toward the box again, and then outward like they changed their mind. "Do not open while parked," the right wall had said. I opened while parked. Salt looks dumb until you've wanted it to be there. All 4 corners had been scuffed. Not erased scuffed, like something soft had tested the edges and been annoyed. There was a smear on the floor where the chair leg had slid. In the dust on the inside of the door, at knee height, where you'd expect a kid to push when they want out. Somebody had written with a fingertip. "Keep moving. I'm not precious about handwriting," but the strokes looked like mine. In the glove box, under the folded insurance card, there was a strip of receipt paper. 5 words in uneven ink. Light buys seconds, names invite, timing binds. The same old sermon in a new church. I drove with the interior light off and the window down, even though a mile of mosquitoes wanted the same air. The radio came back like nothing had happened. The clock lurched forward 10 minutes and then behaved. The mirrors pretended to be mirrors again. On the return leg, I took city streets because the highway felt like a place where big things pass each other's secrets. I aimed for green lights. I ate every yellow I could justify. When I got stuck behind a delivery truck straddling 2 lanes at a crooked angle, the taps started up again, soft and friendly, like a neighbor on a doorframe. "Not stopping," I said out loud. "Not opening." The taps stopped. A second later, the latch pin jiggled like it wanted a vote. The last turn to the house with the couch was a downhill right with a 4-way stop at the bottom. I could see cross traffic. I could see no one. The clock said 3:27. I let the truck roll. The mirrors held steady. The cargo door stayed shut in its world and mine. I got the couch inside. I got the table and the chairs into a kitchen with the wrong paint. I signed the envelope because my buddy likes notes you can hold. I drove the empty truck back with the cargo bay, feeling lighter than it had any right to be. At the lot, the clerk scanned the barcode and squinted at the screen. "You put more gas in than you took," he said. "People usually miss by a bit the other way." "I had a night," I said. He shrugged like he's heard that before. "Next renter at noon," he said. takes it out of state. Big run. I started to walk away and remembered the writing on the wall. "Hey," I asked, "you ever clean the inside? Like the little warnings?" He looked up for the first time. His eyes were the color of tired linoleum. "If you got warnings," he said, "you got someone before you who made it back to write them." I went home. I slept on the floor, because my bed felt like a place where you put your heart on a plate. At 2:58 a.m., a delivery truck braked outside with a sigh that made every vent in my apartment answer. At 3 a.m., the pipe behind my kitchen wall pinged twice like a radio trying to tune in, a voice I didn't want to hear. I returned to the truck the next day to grab a pair of gloves. ID left under the seat. They were gone. In their place was a folded map with a thin blue line drawn from the rental lot to a motel 2 towns over. Someone had circled a room number in red and written 2 letters beside it. Not a 6 and a B this time, just H to like a joke in a language I can keep pretending I understand. I told myself I would throw the map away. Instead, I put it in the freezer behind a bag of peas because cold buys seconds, and I am not a man who wastes the seconds he can buy. Here are the rules I know now. The kind you don't want to know until you do. Keep the wheels turning before 3 o'clock. Don't open while parked. Mirrors lie while you're rolling. Glass outside tells truths you don't want, so don't look too long. Salt is not a punchline. If a box knocks, don't knock back. Light buys seconds. Names invite. Timing binds. And if you ever rent a truck with warnings written inside, return it clean and leave your own writing better than you found it. I should have written more. I should have told the noon renter everything. I wrote only this, in block letters where a hand like mine will find it when the latch 1T listen. Do not stop at 2:58. On the drive home, I hit a red light and sat like a law-abiding citizen with both hands on the wheel. The clock said 3:47. The radio chattered. A couple argued at the corner, the funny kind, about nothing. It felt like the world again. Something touched the bed of my pickup, my own truck. My one safe place, as gently as a mother taps a doorframe so a child knows it, as time to come in. It wasn't loud. It wasn't hard. It was the exact rhythm of my turn signal. I turned the signal off and sat there breathing. Wrong on purpose until the light went green and the timing lost interest in me and moved on to someone who still believes the rules on the wall are jokes. When I got home, I poured salt across the inside threshold of my front door. Not a line you can see in photos, just enough to tell a story to anything that listens to corners. I folded the map twice more and slid it deeper into the freezer. I turned every clock in my apartment 3 minutes slow. It won't save me. Seconds aren't salvation. They're only seconds. But sometimes seconds are the difference between a tap on metal and the sound a latch makes when it learns your name.